AFLW. Who watches it? Me. The more they play, the better it gets. The AFLW Show. This AFLW show will be better than any other AFLW show there is. We will talk the truth. We'll give all the reviews and previews of the rounds just gone and upcoming. We will talk about any topical conversations on this show. It's a show for the people. This is the AFLW show, and it starts right now.
Yes, no, maybe. I don't know. Can you repeat the question? You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss.
The Eagles are going to record a famous swing here. Get that time motion with 3 seconds left on the screen. Let's get it out long. There it is. The Eagles have won. Famous win for the Eagles, a team that wasn't expected to be anywhere near this. They've done it right under the Eagles by 4 points. Hello everyone and welcome to the AFLW show. I'm your host Cooper, the sole admin of AFL information, trade rumours and results. Wow, what a round it was. There was chances galore for sides to get in the 8 like the Saints, and they blew it. There was sides to cement a spot in the 8 like Geelong, and they blew it. There's 2 rounds to go. There's a log jam of teams legitimately on 16 points from like 6 all the way down to 12. So we're going to get right to it. Yeah, from 8th to 13th. And Gold Coast in 7th are only 2 points ahead of the pack. And Collingwood and Essendon are only 4 points ahead of the pack. So 2 rounds to go. All these sides will probably have to win at least 1, probably 2 to make it. Some of these sides will play each other, but we'll get to that and more very shortly. We've got the world famous segment Scoops Goes Bang. We've got my team of the week. I'm going to give some updates. I'm going to go through my AFLW fantasy team and score. I had to undo the Zarlie Goldsworthy trade last week when Ali Morford was out, so I kept Chloe Malloy, who did terrific, but what will happen this week, you'll find out shortly. Yeah, so I'll go through that. Yeah, my team of the week, review the rounds that's gone and upcoming. May have had a fantasy team and some final thoughts and some news topics throughout the show. First off, I want to start off with this. You want me on Cameo? Head to cameo.com/Cooper G. Want me to roast a friend, wish someone happy birthday, anything at all, cameo.com/Cooper G. Now, next week I'll have the episode and I'll go all the way through to the grand final like I do with the men's channel. Podcast. But one thing I want to announce too right now is I'm not sure on the day, but either the Monday or Tuesday of not next week, of the week after, will be the debut of the inaugural Scoops AFLW Medal show. So look forward to that. I'm planning some things behind the scenes to try and make that AFLW medal and the inaugural one as special as it could be and make it very big. Hopefully it all goes to plan. But we'll have to wait and see. That's a few weeks away. But, all right. Now I want you to hit the like button, please. And thank you. I would greatly appreciate it. I want to aim for 20 likes for this video. It's pretty mandatory. You're watching this. I would greatly appreciate that you hit the like button. I would really appreciate it. And subscribe too, most importantly. That's the biggest one. And it's free. You're watching this, you might as well subscribe if you haven't. So I would greatly appreciate it if you hit the sub button. Once we hit 3K, I'll be giving some prize giveaways. All right, it's time. Oh, it's time for the world famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. What to bang on about this week? Could it be about how teams performed? Teams getting complacent, arrogant, whatnot, after having a good momentum the last month or 3 or 4 weeks. You could say that, but it's not a big issue here. But I'm going to mention it. It's the It's the standing room at Icon Park in particular. It's not the only ground. Yes. So I'm just messaging someone. All right. It's just unbelievable that, for the cameras and TV, they normally, they like to fill the goal squares up. It's in the background. This is not the AFL. This is the Icon Park security thing. They don't let you stand behind the goals on one end. But you can't go on the point post of either side, but you can slightly go to about 5 meters further across. It's just like, really? You want to make the time good for everyone. Why not let people behind the goals? Like, seriously. On the other end, you do. So what's the difference on this end? Like, it's a small thing, but it's just like, come on. Get a grip. I've seen it happen to a fair few people as well at the games I've been at Icon Park this year. And you can see on the games in the TV, you don't see anyone in that area. It's because they don't really let you. It's like, let the people be there. I'm sure the TV would love it if there's people there as well and cheering on whoever's playing, and the fans clearly want to do it. Just let us do it. Come on, like, seriously, lift your game. Pathetic. All right. Hope you guys and girls enjoyed that short edition of the world famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. All right. Now, before I go through my team of the week, I want to also mention some another announcement. I greatly appreciate you can go watch all the AFLW player interviews I've done recently. I had done 3 on Friday. Brenna Tarrant from the Swans, Hayley Bullis from the Swans, and Serena Gibbs, who made her Freo debut against the Saints yesterday. That was on Friday. So go check out those 3 interviews. I'll greatly appreciate it. Or if you want to go back and you've never seen some of the other interviews I've done, with Shelley Heath, with Neve Martin, Neve Kelly, Jessica Wushner, and plenty more, go check them out. I would greatly appreciate it. Go watch a video, leave a comment, what your thoughts on the interviews and everything like that. Greatly appreciate it. And the match day vlogs as well. I went to the Bombers-Eagles game yesterday at Windy Hill, and it was a windy day, and then it fits the name, Windy Hill. That was, from conditions point of view, the wind, the hardest conditions I've been to for teams playing. Like, that was the worst conditions I've been to a game where it heavily advantages one end of the ground. And after the first quarter, it didn't advantage any side of the ground, especially the side where the wind was advantage in the first quarter and a bit. The wind ended up blowing sideways after that, so it was extremely hard to score on either end. So that's why you saw a low score in the Bombers-Eagles game. And congratulations to the Eagles. Deserved the win. They had the 4-quarter performance. We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, so go check a like and watch those interviews. I would greatly appreciate the match day vlogs and this podcast, of course. And share it around too if you haven't already. It'd be greatly appreciated. Alrighty. It's now time to go through my AFLW team of the week. Very hard. I'm going to stress this enough. Very hard to pick the team this week. This was really damn hard. All right. Let's go. From the back line, the pockets. Ella Heads and Talia Gillard. Full back, Chelsea Adele. Half back on the flankers, Mackenzie Erdley and Charlotte Thomas. Centre half back, Brenna Tarrant. Wingman, Sophie Conway and Neve Kelly. Centreman, Monique Conti. Half forward line, the flankers, Sophia Hurley and Danielle Ponta. Centre half forward, Chloe Malloy. Forward pockets, Cynthia Hamilton and Anya Madonna. Full forward, Zarlie Goldsworthy. Ruckman, Bren Moody. Rovers, Laura Gardner and Ebony Marinoff. Interchange, Tyler Hanks, Charlie Rowbottom, Abby Mackay and Jazz Fleming. The sub, Anine Zarika. Emergencies, Grace Egan, Ellie Anderson, Georgia Nansquan, Stephanie Wales, Ash Riddell, and Ella Roberts. So here is the team of the week. Let me remove that banner for a second so you can see it all. Reasons, well, quite frankly, it was really, really hard to pick the team this week. You see those long lists of mercies, all of them were capable of being the Georgia Nance one. I want to give a good shout out to. She had 17 tackles, but there was a lot of plays in 10 plus tackles in that game with the conditions, as I mentioned earlier. Credit due. She was still really, really good and very unlucky to miss out. The backline, Ella had about 15 disposals, about 7 intercept possessions. She was terrific for the Swans. Swans are heavily featured here. Chelsea Bedell had about 20 disposals for a key defender, was terrific for the Crows. Talia Gillard, the ball just kept going to her. Partly off North Melbourne's fault, but also that she was really good. They just kept picking her, and she had like 7 marks and was really good. Mackenzie Early was very dominant. She had about 15 disposals, about 7 intercept possessions, a goal assist, and like 8 1%ers as well. So she was really good. Brenda Tarrant, very similar, about 14 disposals, 7 1%ers, maybe even 10 actually. She was awesome. Brendan Tarrant, who I only just interviewed last week, she was fantastic. Charlotte Thomas for the Eagles was probably one of their better players. She was very, very good for the Eagles. And she was a key reason as to why they won. And in the back end of the second half, when the Bombers were starting to press, she was starting to do very well. Had a really good game. Wingman Sophie Conway was terrific, about 28 disposals, 20 contested possessions, I believe, as well, which was awesome. Monique Conti, at 34 disposals, got Richmond over the line single-handedly with Grace Egan, who's on my emergency list. Neve Kelly was great, 28 disposals on the wing, decent efficiency, a lot of metres gained, etc., and was really good and impactful. Half-forward line, Sophia Hurley for the Swans, young star, 24 disposals, 2 goals, was an absolute lock to make the team as a forward. Chloe Malloy kicked 3 goals forward, 28 disposals, like 11 marks and tackles. It's selfish one. She was always getting in. Danielle Ponta kicked 3 and had 11 disposals, always getting in. Cynthia Hamilton was really good. Kicked a couple with about 15 disposals. She was getting in. Zarlie Goldsworthy. I'm just going to get the banner off for a second because I got to give her credit and, a lot of, she was fantastic. It was like the single best AFLW performance from anyone of all time. She kicked 5 goals, 22 disposals, 11 marks and tackles. It was absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to get the exact numbers up because I had it in my post. So let me get my post up and I'll tell you. Yeah. So she had 5 goals in a close game. 5 goals, 22 touches, 11 marks, and 7 tackles. And she was in beast mode. That individual performance from Zarlie Goldsworthy is the best this year and ever. You don't get a more complete game than that. We can't really. Playing forward and a bit of mid as well. So dominating for a side that just won against Carlton, who were around that 8 mark as well. You could say the Giants don't really have anything to play for, but Zarlie Goldsworthy had other ideas, and she was freaking awesome. Very, very talented young player. Is a clear contender for the Rising Star. For me, at the moment, it's between her and Ali Morfitt. But Zarlie Goldsworthy's back in the year had been so strong. Ali Morfitt, unfortunately, out for the rest of the season, so she missed this week and the last 2 games of the season. She's going to miss the last 3 games. Will that cost her the Rising Star this year? I feel it has to be Ali Morfitt or Zarlie Goldsworthy. And right now, with 2 games to go, and if Zarlie has 2 more terrific games, she has to be the clear favourite for the Rising Star. If she drops off, then it's going to be a line ball between her and Ali Morfitt. But the race will be down to 2 for me. If someone else wins the Rising Star, I'll be completely shocked. I mean, them 2 have been clear standouts for me. They've been bloody awesome. So congratulations to Zarlie on the single most perfect performance in AFLW history. Definitely this year. And I would go as far to say of all time. Complete performance. 5 good goals too. They weren't just over the top gimme handballs. They were, and a couple of goals in the last quarter, impactful, dominant, deserved it. I might be telling you who got the 3 votes there, which you won't know technically, but yet until the AFLW Medal night. But she was amazing, absolutely amazing from Zarlie Goldsworthy. All right, let's continue with the team of the week. Anya Madonna kicked a couple, had 14 disposals, really good for the Hawks. Bren Moody had 40 hit-outs, like 24 disposals. She was a lock for the ruckman this week. Stephanie Wells could consider herself unlucky. She had 40 hit-outs and about 14 touches of her own. But Bren Moody was terrific. Laura Gardner kicked a goal, 33 disposals. She was bloody awesome for the Swans again. She continues to be a dominant player for the Swans week in and week out. There's Laura Gardner. Ebony Marinoff, again, 34 disposals. Just saying this. I'm on repeat every week with Ebony Marinoff. She's a gun. Interchange. Tyler Hanks, I thought was really, really good for the teams. I wanted to put her on the field, but performances on field were just insane. So she had to go on the bench. She had 28 disposals. It was a key reason why Melbourne won. She was their best mid on the night, and she deserved the accolades. Charlie Rowbottom, 30 disposals, was dominant. Abby Mackay for the Blues, about 24, 26 disposals, which is really good and impactful with contested possessions galore and goal assist and 7 score involvements. Jez Fleming was one of the Hawthorn's better players, provided a bit of a spark around the wing half forward area, and she did really good. And she was the reason why the Hawks were in the game, along with Mackenzie Early, as I mentioned earlier. And the sub, Hanan Sarika from the Giants, she had 17 tackles, and that automatically deserved a spot in the team. I know Nanskron had that as well, but a lot of players in the game had that around that in the Bombers-Eagles clash. Zarika was dominant with the tackles, goal assists, score involvements, etc. So she got in the team of the week. Mercy's Grace Egan, Ellie Anderson, Georgia Nansquan, Stephanie Wells, Ash Riddell, who had 31 touches, and Ella Roberts, who was really good for the Eagles. And again, like Charlotte Thomas in defence, she was a key reason why they won the game. Ella Roberts played more forward, then pushes it back up a ruck, but she was everywhere. The utility, Ella Roberts, was really good as well, but she just missed out on the team. And I want to give a quick shout out too to who I did not put in the team, who I also have interviewed before, Shelley Heath. She did a great tagging job on not Brittany. She did that early in the year, and Brie Davey, but on Jasmine Garner, who had 21 disposals or something like that. But it wasn't Jasmine Garner's effective best. So credit to Shelley Heath on a great game, and I should have put her on the emergency list. She was close as well. So, yeah, she was terrific as well. All right. You know what? Before we're going to go through, so comment down below my team, what you would have done, what your thoughts were. Yeah. Now, do we go through the ladder? No, we're going to do the ladder prediction. Well, after we preview round 9 or around that time. So let's go review the round 8 games. As I said, this round had some upsets, had some close games. We had a draw between the Power and the Suns. Let's go through the game. So in Cairns, Hawthorn 30, defeated by the Tigers 41 on Friday night. It was Richmond by 11 points. Hawthorn had the chances. They looked on early. Really on early. And then the Tigers, led by Monique Conti, who her efficiency wasn't great, but it improved in the second half. I think her kicking efficiency was about 25% in the first half. She had about 16 touches. But then again, conditions as well play a factor in Cairns. Bit of slippery conditions. But yeah, Richmond late. Courtney Jones popped up for a goal. There were some really good performances. Kate Dempsey for Richmond was pretty good as well. For the Hawks, as I said, Early and Fleming and Anya Madonna, some of the better plays for the Hawks. Let's move on to Saturday, and it was a dominant victory for the Swans, 96-39 at Whitten Oval on Saturday. Sydney by 57 points. Bulldogs injury depleted. They have got excuses. Carruthers, Keely Coyne, Dom Carruthers, that is. Last week, and there was another injury as well. So they had 3 injuries this week. But injuries galore, ACL injuries, which was Keely Coyne's, unfortunately. Wish her all the best. And yeah, they've had a buttload of injuries this year. But doesn't excuse the way they played and dominated. I mean, Nathan Burke gets some excuse of the injuries, but then how long can you use it for? For the Swans, I could be here all day telling you who was good. Malloy, Gardner, Cynthia Hamilton, Lexi Hamilton, who I also interviewed, Brenna Tarrant, she was good. Ella Heads was good. I'll just name the whole team for Sydney. Sophia Hurley was dominant. Yeah, the whole team was really good, really strong, great team effort, and they were dominant. That's probably one of the dominant victories this season. And the stats would show that as well. I know Melbourne pummeled West Coast East last week by about 70-odd points. But this would be up there as one of the most dominant victories individually in a game this season. Yeah, they were very good, the Swans. Bulldogs, not so much. Ellie Blackburn tried, but Bulldogs were terrible. Now, these close games start on the rest of the Saturday games. Brisbane, Adelaide. Brisbane 42 defeated the Crows 39. Brisbane by 3 points. Brisbane scored the last 3 points of the game. Charlotte Mullins kicked the last point of the game. The Brisbane Lions, yeah, they had the lead. Adelaide got in front, and Brisbane ended up winning. So, a really good game, this one. Anderson, Conway were good for the Brisbane Lions. Postlethwaite, the Crows, Bedell, Marinoff. Caitlin Good was a bit quieter than normal. Hatchard went off injured in the third quarter, came back on the last. Didn't do too much then. But yeah, the Brisbane Lions got a great win. The ladder keeps changing that top end as well. Forget about around the 8th spot in the top 4 as well. Essendon had a prime opportunity this week and blew it to be eagle 4th with North, but they didn't. Good win in the end for the Brisbane Lions. There will be 2 sides featuring in the preliminary finals and likely the grand final as well. At least one of them will. Unless they play in the unless they play in 2 separate prelims and they both lose, but we'll see. Anyway, this game was awesome. GWS 49 defeated Carlton 47. GWS by 2 points. Abby Mackay was good, as I mentioned earlier. Bren Moody, really good. Keely Skipper was really good. For the Giants, I said it already, but I'm just going to say it again. Zarlie Goldsworthy, 5 goals, 22 disposals. 11 tackles, 7 marks. The best individual performance in AFLW history, Zarlie Goldsworthy. Great goals, impactful, key moments. No junk time goals, no cherry picking goals, no over the top handballs, no stealing people's marks on the goal line. All good goals, great goals. In fact, she was fantastic. Zarlie Goldsworthy. Yeah, good win for the Giants. We're really happy with how they've gone. We've had Elise Parker too, who's probably their best player with Zarlie Goldsworthy. They had a really good win in the end. Now the draw at Alberton. 45 apiece, 7-3, 45 each. Wow. Abby Dowrick was one of Port's better players, but Charlie Robin was a beast. Claudia Whitfield was good. Daisy Darcy was good. Lucy Single was good, doing a taking run with well. Gemma Houghton was good for Port. Some interesting performances in here. Jacqueline Dupay, an underrated player from the Gold Coast Suns. Key position is Jacqueline Dupay. She had another good game. Get their late goal to equal the scores. With the snap around the body and the swing on the ball. Looked like it was going to swing that way, and it did. And it was a great goal from Jacqueline Dupay, which equaled the scores. Port had a few chances late to score. Good defence from the Suns led that game to end up being a draw. But overall, though, I'd be disappointed if your Gold Coast, you're in the 8, there's a chance to solidify. And if they had won in the end, they would have been equal. But no, they wouldn't have been equal 5th. They would have been 5th on percentage. So it's just, and now they're in that 2 points in the 8, just hanging in with 2 games to go. Like, you had your chances, Gold Coast, and you blew it, but you take 2 points. Hopefully for them, they can bounce back, and they got a couple of opportunities the next 2 games with GWS and Essendon, but I'll have to wait and see there. All right, the next game to go through was on Saturday night at Icon Park. It was Melbourne 37 defeated the Roos 14. North by 24 points. Melbourne by 24 points over the Roos. Congratulations to Neve Martin, who I interviewed 2 weeks ago, probably now. Her second game, great to see her kick her debut goal. It was great to see someone who had a story, who was in Ireland only 2 or 3 months ago, came to Australia 2 months ago with her good mate and fellow Irish girl, Erica O'Shea. It's just great to see, and they're happy for her to kick her first goal. Hopefully that's many more to come. But after that, there wasn't many there was, in fact, no goals after her goal. Oh, sorry, they got 2 goals. But, yeah, it was really disappointing, though, for the Roos after that. Like, were Melbourne really good? Yes, they were. Led by Hanks and Purcell and Gillard, Eden Zanka, Kate Hall. But I feel like Melbourne deserved the win, but North Melbourne really blew it for themselves because they had a lot of the time they had the ball about, just inside the center, in the center of the ground, about 60 out from their defense, going forward. They just keep bombing it, And there's players out the back, like, they can't kick 70 metres. So it's a bit of the smarts from the players, the forwards, but also with the mids or the players that are running it out from the back line around the back 50. Like, you got to have confidence, chip it around. No one can kick 70 metres in AFL or AFLW. So stop thinking you're going to try and get it over the back. Unless there's a drastic win, unless you're at Windy Hill yesterday, then they're not going to go at the back, unfortunately. They just keep kicking it to Talia, Gillard and co. And that's really why they lost. They had opportunities. Riddell was awesome, but she couldn't do it alone. Garner was well held, as I said earlier, by Shelley Heath, who did a terrific job on her. But back to the drawing board for the Roos, but I'm confident the Roos will bounce back. They're a bloody good side. They'll bounce back. But Melbourne, good win in the end. Now, the game's on Sunday. Saturday, Vic Park, terrible conditions, wet, windy, everything there. Collingwood 30 defeated Geelong 24. Collingwood by 6 points at Vic Park. Collingwood were in front by about 2 goals for most of the game. Geelong just got a goal late with a minute and a half to go. Collingwood just held on. But yeah, good win for them. And now they're 6 on 20 points. We're going to get the ladder shortly. But that crucial win in Geelong puts them in the pack again, even though they are 8th at the moment, but they're really just holding in on percentage. Their percentage is pretty good, so they probably don't have to worry about percentage, provided they don't lose a game by like 40, 50 points, which I don't think they would. But yeah, next game, yeah, I know. St Kilda won 4 in a row. We've done bloody well to do that. And the loss is probably coming at some point. But the Freo, who have been in and out, now they're in the pack, at the bottom of the pack on 16 points. Freo 45 defeated my Saints 21. Freo about 24. Well, when I spoke to Serena Gibbs, she said there was 2 key players that they had to quell the influence of, and that was Georgia Patrikios and Jessie Wardlaw. I mean, Jessie was well held, so big tick there for the Dockers on Jessie Wardlaw. Patrikios had 16 touches. She was fine. Had a solid game. But yeah, I get it wasn't the greatest, but she had one of the most disposed for the club this week. But yeah, it was just, Lambert was a touch off. A few crucial mistakes in the back line, conceded in Freo goals. Just hopefully this is one that you put in the review mirror and you never talk about it again. We've got 2 big games now, Brisbane and Carlton. We'll probably have to win one, if not both, to make it, because our percentage has dropped a little bit. If we win one of the games for 40 points, that'll probably shoot us up near the top of the percentage of those teams on equal points. But then you got to rely on those teams not winning by that much, etc. So we'll probably have to win both. It's going to be bloody tough. Play Brisbane at Moorabbin this week, then to Carlton at Icon Park. So it's going to be an interesting one. Hopefully we can get the job done there. But in this game, we did not. Our 4-game winning streak was over. Congratulations to the Dockers, who are now a mathematical chance. They're equal on points. It's the team in 8th, which is Geelong. So we'll have to wait and see there. Only teams will be hoping Geelong lose both their games. Well, definitely one, because of their percentage gap. Now, the final game to go through, which was at Windy Hill, Essendon 2-7-19, defeated by the Eagles 3-5-23. Eagles by 4 points. Look, as I said earlier, and in my matchday vlog, West Coast deserved the win. Ella Roberts, Charlotte Thomas, Courtney Rowley, Sophie McDonald were some of their better players, and Emma Swanson as well. They really deserved the win. As I said, I was at the game, so I just saw they were up and about before the game. Look, no one probably thought they were going to win. In fact, I wouldn't blame if you didn't, but I don't know what it was, but the way they were training and the way they were, preparing for the game, I just had that weird suspicion. I'm like, okay, I don't think they'll win, but this may not be a blowout. And then see how the first quarter started. They kicked the first 2 goals in the first 3 to 5 minutes. I'm like, shit, they're on. I know they got their breeze, and that's why I was just calling the expectation. I'm like, no, they're on. And then even against the win, Essendon didn't capitalise in the second quarter, and I'm like, no, they're in this. They are in this. And the way they're going, I don't think they'll lose this. But then even at 3 quarter time when they had an 18-point lead, I'm like, okay, West Coast are a young and experienced team. Essendon got a lot to play for. They could bounce back. And credit to the Eagles. Charlotte Thomas, as I said, down in defence was bloody awesome. Ella Roberts had a helping hand down there in the last quarter. She was really good. And a key reason why they won. And Yeah, and you've seen in the vlog, you would see how excited the Eagles girls were with the win, and so they bloody should be. That was their second win for the season, away from home at Windy Hill. Big win for the Eagles. They gave the Bombers a reality check, really. Bombers, I know, would not be happy with that. I mean, they're still a bloody good side themselves, Essendon, but they were really disappointed with that, and I'm sure they are not happy at all. All right. Let's now go through my AFLW fantasy team. Oh, and score, sorry. I scored 1,315, ranking 725. I dropped about 200 in the rankings. I had Ebony Marinoff, captain, who scored like 280 odd as captain, which is awesome. Had Chloe Malloy, who scored like 130 something. It was Zarlie Goldsworthy, who I had and had to undo it because of Morford's injury. She got 161 or something, 164. But anyway, that's that. So Chloe Malloy luckily jumped up a lot of money. So the difference between the two, Zarlie Goldsworthy went up like 194,000, like flip. But Chloe Malloy went up about 150 something herself. So they're very similar. So this may sound stupid, but there's a reason why I'm doing this. Chloe Malloy I've taken out for Zarlie Goldsworthy. That was my plan last week. And it was against the Bulldogs, so it's like Chloe was dominant. She's a gun, but her scores have been a bit inconsistent. Zarlie's getting consistent 100. So I wanted the safe bet there. So I've gone Zarlie Goldsworthy. I've swapped sisters basically on the bench. Darcy Davies is in, and Fleur Davies is out for the Giants. On the bench, she made an extra 250k for me to swap them, so this was why I was able to get Zarlie Goldsworthy as well. So that's why I did that trades for the bench anyway. And Darcy Davies with the Suns is playing at the moment, so if I need cover, she'll be there. And I've taken out also Lily Postlethwaite, who had a solid game. She got 50-something, 16 odd disposals. But I've gone Keely Skepper for the Blues. She scored a 60 odd on the weekend. It's had a few hundreds and 90s, so at about 750, I took the gamble on her, and I think she'll do a really good job in the team for me for the last two games. So that's my team of the week. I did my team of the week earlier. Go check that out if you haven't already. And yeah, I was happy with the score. By hearing some people get 1,500, then I dropped 200 odd in the rankings. Pretty disappointing if you ask me, but here we are. Also, too, by the way, I forgot to mention on the top, if you know any AFLW players personally, or someone you would just like to see me interview or do a goal kicking challenge with, please tag them in a message or whatnot on a post saying, I would love to see you go on Cooper's podcast, or send them a message if you know them personally and whatnot, and we'll sort something out. Or if you just don't know them personally, but you want me to interview them, message me and say, can you try and get someone on or whatever? And I'll go and try and do that. Greatly appreciate. So go message me on Instagram, AFL Info Live, or Facebook, AFL Information, Trade Rumors and Results, with 55,000 plus followers. There's only one Insta page, AFL Info Live. It's one with 3,500 followers, and you know which one's mine. There's only one account on Instagram, one on Facebook, and mine, you can tell the difference. Mine is 55,000, and some of my Insta has 3,500 or so. And yeah, so that's that. All right, let's now go through. I'm going to preview round 9 first, or we're going to go through the ladder. All right, we're going to go through the ladder, actually. Let's go through the ladder. All right, so with 2 rounds to go, let's get that banner off. All right, so unfortunately, the Giants, Hawks, Eagles, Power, and Bulldogs are out. Power mathematically and the Bulldogs can't make it. It's going to be technical on West Coast Giants and Hawthorn can, but they won't. So they're out. So the race is down to 13. So you got Melbourne on top on 28, followed by the Crows on 28 in second. And in third on 24 points, you got the Roos, followed by the Lions. And then in fifth on 20 points, you got the Bombers at a percentage of 102.4. Pies in sixth on 20 points also on 101.1. So 1.3% behind the Bombers on percentage. So really a couple of goals in it. And in seventh place on 18 points, it's the Gold Coast Suns, percentage of 6.5, but that percentage is now irrelevant because of their draw with the Power, who aren't in contention. So percentage is not an issue for the Suns, so just have to win at least one of those games and they're in. Same with the Pies and Bombers. It's Geelong, they're the team that's the most vulnerable despite having the best percentage of the teams around the bottom, between 5th to 13th, and by a fair bit too. But they're on 16 points, 118.5. In 9th on 16 points is the Blues on 97.8. The Swans in 10th, also on 16 points at 97.1. In 11th, also on 16 points is 96.4 is the Tigers. In 12th place is the Saints on 16 points, also at 90.6%. And in 13th place is Freo on 16 points at 80.7%. All I'm going to say is I'm ruling out Fremantle. And I'm really going to rule out the loser of Richmond and Geelong this week. Carlton have my Saints in the last game. Carlton this round also have the Bombers. So Blues, I'm going to say, are not making it. I'm going to make my decision. So the Dockers are out, Richmond are out, Carlton are out. At least my Saints and the Swans. The Saints and Swans could easily get in. Geelong, they got the Hawks in the last game, which they should win that. They got Richmond this week. The loser of that goes out for me, especially if it's Richmond. But, oh, God. You know what? Gold Coast have got GWS and then the Bombers. Collingwood have Sydney. Sydney could win that. And then Collingwood... Who did Collingwood have in the game? Let me just have a quick look. Collingwood in their last game have Richmond. So there's still a chance of falling. The Bombers have got Gold Coast and Carlton. Carlton this week. So, I'm going to go the Bombers are safe. I'm going to go the Suns are safe. And I'm going to go the Pies are safe. Sydney have got Collingwood this week. So that winner will probably make it for me. And Sydney in the last round have Freo on the last game of the home and away season. All I'm going to say is this. I mean, for a side, Sydney, who didn't win a game last year in their first year in the history of the club in AFLW, could be playing finals in their second season and how they started the season. Like, it's just amazing. I'm actually thinking the Swans make it over to my Saints. I don't know if we beat the Lions this week, which probably stuffs us up. So I've got Sydney replacing Geelong in my ladder there. What do you think? Comment down below. Who makes the 8, who doesn't make it, etc. Be interesting. It'll be an interesting ending nonetheless of the AFLW season. Now let's go preview round 9 games. Might have got a gist of who I'm tipping after that, but anyway. Friday night at Heritage Bank Stadium up on the Gold Coast. It's Gold Coast hosting the Giants. I'm going to tip the Gold Coast here by 15 points. Zarlie will dominate as always, but I'm going the Giants. The Suns, Gold Coast Suns. Potentially solidify a spot in the 8 there. Saturday, 1:05 p.m. at Casey Fields. It's Melbourne hosting Freo. I'm tipping Melbourne, which means Freo are out. 3:05 p.m. at Moorabbin at RSCA Park. It's the Saints host the Brisbane Lions. I'm actually going to tip Brisbane in this game. I just don't see how we can beat them, but I'll be bloody happy if we do. 3:05 p.m. at Windy Hill on Saturday. It's Essendon hosting Carlton. I'm going to go the Bombers to bounce back. They'll be angry. And Carlton will be shaky for the last spot in the 8. They'll play my Saints in the last game. At 5:05 p.m. up at Mineral Resources Park is the Eagles against the Bulldogs, the injury-depleted Eagles. The way the Eagles played against the Bombers, I'm tipping the Eagles in this one at home. I really am. Luck to both sides. Bulldogs haven't won a game this year. This is their best chance. Saturday night at Icon Park, it's Richmond hosting Geelong, 7:15 Victorian time. I'm tipping... Oh, God. I'll tip Richmond in this one. I'm tipping Richmond in this one by 5 points. Sunday games, 1:05 p.m. Victorian time at Henson Park in Sydney. It's Sydney hosting Collingwood. I'm going the Swans here. I'm really going the Swans, and I wouldn't really call it an upset. Maybe a slight upset, but not a major. Or it could be. I'm going the Swans. There's a few ex-Pies playing in the same. Chloe Malloy's one. But yeah, and coaching staff used to be at the Swans as well. The Pies as well. Some of the coaching staff. I'm going the Swans here. 3 or 5 p.m. at Norwood Oval in Adelaide. This is going to be a great game. 3 or 5 p.m. Victorian time on Sunday. It's the Crows hosting the Roos, second v third. I'm going to tip the Crows here, only because they're at home by 5 points. Final game of the round at Frankston. It is Hawthorn hosting Port Adelaide. I'm going to tip the Hawks by 5 points here against about 5:05 p.m. Victorian time. All right, my final thoughts are simply this. You want me on Cameo, head to cameo.com/CooperG. I'm going to roast a friend, wish someone happy birthday, anything at all. Cameo.com/CooperG. All right, just one final thing as well. To subscribe and hit the like button if you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate it. Hopefully some more player interviews coming, so keep an eye out for that. Smash the like button and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Always try and get more guests on, so the more guests on, the better. But not only me, but for you guys. And the Scoops AFLW Medal, the inaugural Scoops AFLW Medal, will be not next Monday, potentially the following Monday or Tuesday next week, or that week. So not next week, the week after on the Monday or Tuesday. Look forward to that. Till then, until next week, for this podcast and every other interviews and videos in between, take care. The most important thing of all to remember is go the Saints, and of course, acknowledge me, the one. And come on, Saints, do the unthinkable and beat the Brisbane Lions, and don't let them roar. Saints go marching in to finals.